Here's here's take two. Welcome back to the Righteous Dad podcast. I'm here with Nicole Moreau. We're gonna go ahead and have her introduce herself. She already did a great job for about 3 minutes, and I was an absolute amateur, and it didn't hit the record button. As you're looking at the glasses, this is my Fear and Loathing Las Vegas episode. So hey, welcome, Nicole. How about you introduce
Welcome.
yourself?
I feel like I just met you again and again.
This is the last time she's ever going to be on this podcast.
Well, I hope not. I hope it goes well. I'd love to come back. You know, I love you, Brian. I've known you a long time. Married to my best friend. So I've definitely known you a little bit too long. But
12 years. 12 years.
What's that?
More than 12 years now. So
Jeez, Pizzo. Yeah. Before, gosh, I think you did 2 tours after I met you.
Yeah, we met at 10 years old. So she's only 22. So Nicole,
Creep.
you could see it.
Creep.
Yeah, right.
Well, thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. So as you can see at the top, I mean, you're Mortgage Madam, right? So you're like, what do you do? I mean, could be a little wonky. That is my IG handle. So you could follow me on there.
Oh, okay.
But I am a team sales manager for Caliber Home Loans. We do go back and forth year after year between the number 2 and number 3 VA lender in the country. We actually, this year, we have 4 circles of military friendly. It is an honor to even have 1. This year we did get 4. Last year, I believe we had 2 or 3. So we are working our way up. Also voted number 1 by the U.S. Veterans Chamber of Commerce for VA home loans. It is about 50% of my business. I am not the one who just jumped onto this VA ship as the market shifted and all of a sudden people want to work with you. I've always wanted to work with you. It is one of the main reasons I do stay at Caliber. We have a military lending department that is a non-income producing department. It is solely to help our active military and our veterans. Any questions? If I don't know the answer, I know it's hard to believe I might not know something. But I can send it out within 24 hours. I have the answer if it's something that's, difficult to understand, even in our guidelines, the VA handbook. I'm also our co-chair of our local military veterans resource group here. We do things like the backpack brigade we have coming up. So we do a lot of donations, fundraisers, and, we always have our booths out just to share what we do with the military side of things.
You're a local California girl, right? So
I'm from Southern California.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it the fake blonde that gave it away?
No, so you've been around vets pretty much your whole life, probably growing up.
My uncle's Air Force. Can I say flyboy? No? Okay.
Yeah, you can say flyboy. We have some people that watch here from the Air Force as well too.
Awesome. Yeah, been around all of it. So lived next to Pendleton 4 years as I got my undergrad from Cal State San Marcos, where I met your amazing wife, and got my degree in business. I was an appraiser, but ended up here because my passion for helping people runs deep. So I also went to school for physical therapy, and I wanted to intertwine the two, real estate and helping people. Nice. My clients become family. Yes, I want to go to your birthday parties. Just went to a surprise party for one of my VA clients, his wife. And, I'm here to help. It's not, it could be just related to loans, getting you into a house, how to set you up, consult you, setting you up with a great realtor. I usually pair our veterans with a realtor that is a vet, because you guys just have a brotherhood that no one else can understand. I do need to give a quick shout out to my cousin who just left for Fort Benning, Georgia, joined the Army, 18 years old. Let's go, Jet. All right.
Hooah. Whoop. Yeah, can he swim? That's the biggest thing Doc wants to know, because I know he wants to know why didn't he join the Navy?
He could have been better than that.
He could have been a swashbuckling pirate. You know what I mean?
He could have been a sailor.
I'm going to send him this, right? You can make fun of him all you want. No, he's a great kid, going to do great things.
I need to shed a tear for Lord Admiral Nelson real quick.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. So, also just out here, I'm part of our VA rep. So if you do know somebody, what we do is maybe there's a veteran that falls on hard times, can't make a mortgage payment. we get that set up. Need some funds for utility bills, foods, cat food. Same thing after the loans are done. I want to be your friend. I want to be your family. Give me a call. You need help getting set up, connected with somebody in your community. You call me first.
So it's not just home loans too. You guys can do
Nope.
other kind of loans in order to get out of trouble, or mortgage payments or other things too. Is that what you're saying?
No. So actually, me personally, I volunteer. Well,
okay,
I'm a
as
member.
a resource director for
yeah.
things like, okay,
Yep.
I gotcha.
So it's a separate group. Yes.
Yeah, let me interject real quick. What she's talking about in Arizona, there's a lot of more programs that can help out. Good example, and I'm not trying to like throw myself in there, but I'm a board member to Governor's Doug Ducey Post 9/11 Relief Fund. So if there's a lot of veterans or someone that's having issues with that, there is available resources, not only in Arizona, but throughout the state. Every single state has a specific veterans. You know, they're not might be as good as Arizona's because we're there. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, exactly.
What I'm saying is there is resources, and Miss Mortgage Madam over here, she can definitely help you just to look into some of those. She might not be able to directly give you money if you're thinking that, but there is more resources.
I was about to ask. I was like, shit, I need some money.
Yeah.
You need some of that internet money.
Yeah. Just connecting you with the people that are there to help you. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why too I wanted Doc to be on it. I wanted you guys to meet in order to be able to collaborate to help veterans, and so it's awesome. I think it's great. I mean, I've known you for a long time, seen you, like you said, do different things like physical therapy and move to Arizona, and then how you've kind of grown yourself into the person you are now, and then helping, just knowing now you're helping with veterans and really pushing that stuff is really awesome. And I was like, I'm proud of you for that. And yeah, I'm going to need your help definitely in the next couple of years. I'm trying to go out there in Arizona, so I'm going to rely heavily on you. But also I've seen that you're doing something the last couple of days, which seems pretty awesome too. You went at some kind of conference, right? So
I did. So I try to participate in as much activities as I can, whether it's real estate based, business based. This particular conference was pretty awesome. It was not very, stuffy or hoity toity. There was a DJ. It was pretty wild.
Sounds like some Tony Robbins stuff, like everyone's like happy and jumping, and
it was awesome. Jumping up, clapping. We had some amazing speakers. It's how to grow your business, but it was painters, it was roofers. It wasn't just real estate focused. And it was these young guys who got together and had a dream. And you know what? They've crushed it. They actually put that conference together in 90 days. They had an idea and turned it into an amazing, amazing conference. They didn't even have to pay a speaker. We had speakers up there, that have done a few million. There was a couple Lamborghinis parked in front, but nice. And people that started as truckers that said, you know what, I want to do something else, get rid of the fear, stick to the focus, stick to the consistency, and implement your ideas, and you're going to get there. So it doesn't matter really where you came from. The guy on the stage, worth $900 million, his dad, Air Force veteran, and his dad growing up, he said, had to literally beat up bums to take money to put food on the table for his siblings. And he also grew up with a little bit more than that. He had food, but he has grown himself into that. So it was quite amazing, and definitely honored to be a part of that. And also just want to say, I mean, how can I forget? Thank you guys for your service. I mean, holy smokes. If you guys don't hear it, because I bet you don't hear it enough, and you deserve it. So thank you.
I don't hear from my wife enough. I mean, I keep trying to tell her.
I mean, that's a personal issue. Is she talking about the military?
Every morning. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I serve at every capacity that I can. So a lot of times it's, hey, get up and
not the best, but I still serve. Okay.
Yeah, the best service is like, can you get up and go warm the bottle up? Because I don't want to grab them. It's your turn. You want to go grab them, like my 2-year-old boy that's screaming in the background. So no, that's awesome. So a lot of the people that I want to have on this podcast are people that are inspiring, that bring a lot of resources and support. And it's not just to veterans, but it's to everybody. So hopefully, people that are watching or listening to this on Spotify or YouTube can get some value added to it. I know for myself, the VA loan process, I've done it one time. It wasn't really hard for me because I just kind of was like, whatever. I didn't have to really think about it because I'm still active duty. However, there's a lot of different things that happen when you get out. And we want to kind of have you on the show and Doc too, to help out to kind of take away some of those myths and kind of walk me through the process. Cause for me, I know it's going to be value added because in 2 years, I'm going to be going through the whole process, but I'm going to be going through the process in a different capacity as not active duty anymore, but a veteran. And then going through like how those steps are going to go. So let's say I'm a brand new E5, I shouldn't say brand new married E5, and I start getting BAH and I start getting some freedom to escape from the barracks. Walk me through some of the process and maybe some of the things that you would recommend to a junior service member.
So the first thing is going to be what we would tell a civilian as well. Make sure your credit's up in line. Make sure you have a little bit of money in the bank. That is one thing that I won't do, whether you're a veteran or not. I'm not going to make you house poor. I'm not going to put you at the top of your budget and say, hey, if something breaks, sorry, you're SOL, right? You're either mortgage payment or you got an air conditioner. So, just setting yourself up for success, having your credit at a good score. One of the myths about veterans is that they have poor credit. And I know that the older generation might've been a little bit different when getting out. I think there are some classes where they try to help you, kind of guide you when you're getting back and you're getting a bonus, et cetera, and how to allocate that, and not on, a red Pontiac or something, Brian.
Oh, I got
like me. Are you talking about like, that's how I married your best friend was I got my $30,000 tax-free bonus. I got my re-enlistment bonus, 30 grand, most I've ever had, paid off debt, bought some things, and then started taking her out to Texas Day, Brazil, and all those fancy restaurants. And she's probably thinking, holy shit, this guy's good to go.
An investment.
Right?
That's an investment. I mean? There's a difference.
Yeah.
Right.
And then married her. And then she came to find out, she got to see my leave earn statement, my LES. And she's like, holy fuck.
Shit.
So you're saying I have to work? Yeah. If you want to go, and hamburger helper's fine with me.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Baloney.
Hey, Brian, real fast with hamburger helper, you eat like raviolis out of the can?
Not if I can help it. That's something that, we would put in austere environments on top of the Humvee with some spaghetti.
We eat it out of
MREs are expensive though, man. But I mean, I could. I mean, that's part of being a Marine.
Ethan, I was with somebody for a very long time. Who's in Marines 8 years, and now Phoenix PD 14. Nice. I would turn around. He's standing in the kitchen, just doesn't heat it up. He's like, it's a Marine thing.
Oh yeah, when you're in the field or when you're just like somewhere and you have to eat, you just open it, grab it, eat it, and you just expect the best out of life. Think about good things. Just think about good things. That's all you do.
Chef Boyardee, I'm like, throw it in a can. I don't want to do the dishes. Okay. Just eat it out of the can. But that threw me off on the hamburger helper. Sorry, Brian. Back to your E5 BAH. There's a lot of different regulations. So we can, in some circumstances, use BAH if you have at least 3 years left remaining on it. If you are not going to receive it for at least 3 years, we cannot use it as an income, but we can use it as a compensating factor, meaning if your debt to income ratio, so your monthly revolving payments compared to what your income is high, we can use that as a factor to possibly get the loan through. I'll give you an example. The last loan I closed was a VA loan. He had great credit. Thank you. 23 years old, 4 months, discharged Marine. Awesome guy. Awesome. I can tell you, not in a braggadocious way, but no other lender would have gotten this done. 61% debt to income ratio. On the chart, he could go to 60 based on his credit, but he sold his car. He had one monthly payment of $35. I built an entire spreadsheet, worked with my military lending department on his other incomes. I had 2 years of BAH. I picked up a lease from his brother who would be moving in when he bought the house, signed. I requested an Excel sheet on his weekly expenses that I showed as a monthly reoccurring, submitted it, showed that his debt to income really was about 48% because he did side work for his uncle's company, landscaping company, and we got it approved. So there are ways to get things done. I've seen it as high as 82% debt to income. I wouldn't recommend it. But they had another company they couldn't use due to guidelines. And I'll get into that a little bit. People get out, have 2 jobs right away because you guys work so hard. You cannot use the income of a second job until you've consistently had 2 jobs, technically 2 years on guidelines. If you've had 12 months, we can put in for a request to use it. But if you get out and have 2, you cannot use both incomes. You can't use a cash, a 1099. There's so many things that I could sit here and talk, and these guys would get sick of my voice if they aren't already.
Well, I want you to unravel some things for me that I'm a little confused myself. You said something about revolving doors or rotating doors or something like that. What was the term you used?
They're revolving debt.
What does that even mean?
Okay, so you have a credit card payment. It is not.
Because think about it seriously. Like, well, this is what I'm saying is that let's think about what's your cousin's name that he's going to boot camp right now? Jet. Let's say Jet, and I'm not trying to be a weirdo here, but if you look at the statistics of who joins the military are usually younger people, and most people that are younger don't come from a good household. I think approximately 70 to 80% people that go in there come from first one-parent home. So there's a lot of disadvantage that it comes when it comes to financial aspects. To include that, maybe as kids they didn't learn about credit. So I don't know how Jet is, but let's just say that Jet falls into that category of like, I'm 18, I'm going to boot camp. I don't know what credit is because I never even paid a cell phone myself. It's all been mom or dad or mom and dad. So, or dad and dad or mom and mom, whatever now, you know what I mean? Is that someone has been helping them out. Now you're going into this place with no credit really. Why no credit? Because you never had any debt. Why no debt? Because you've been helped a little bit in life. So even if let's say that they go in and get a credit card or go spend money at a tattoo shop or get their new cell phone, their new car, how do you start getting people involved or invest or even thinking what is credit in the military?
So I think that goes for any 18-year-old, but especially like you said, military. The benefit now is you can set up an automatic payment. So I always recommend that if you're going to take out a credit card, you open up that first letter or you talk to whoever you're signing up with. When I was 18, I signed up in person like an idiot for a credit card. Find out when that payment is due and set up an automatic payment of at least your monthly minimum. And that means you might, interest rates, we can get all into that. But say you go out and spend $1,000. That credit card payment, you're going to have a minimum monthly payment. You never want to miss that. It might only be $15. It might be $35. It could be $150. And that's also determined not only by what you spent, but the interest rate on it. If you can set up an automatic payment, you can overpay that amount, but just set it up for a minimum to continue to build your credit up. Once you have a 30-day late payment, not only does it significantly decrease your credit score, but it also decreases your ability to get approval on loans, even a car loan.
Can my cell phone be used as a credit acquiring tool?
Yes and no.
Tell us why.
So the cell phone is not a credit card. It does not have an interest rate on it. However, you can opt through programs like Experian Boost to have it added as a reoccurring debt that you automatically pay in order to slightly boost your credit. But when we look at it, it says it's like a 30-day account that's self-reported. So if you don't make your payments on it, yes, it can damage your credit, but it's not a main credit producer to increase your credit. One thing on it though, if you do have a monthly revolving payment, say on your cell phone, because those things are so freaking expensive now, that is not considered like a credit card monthly bill. So we wouldn't hit you for that. on your monthly payments. So say you want to buy a house, we're looking at what your monthly credit card minimum payments are and your monthly, if you had a student loan, if you have a car payment. We are not looking at a cell phone payment. We are not looking at your car insurance, your clothing allowance, nothing like that. It's so a cell phone bill is like a touchy one.
I have a quick question too. So I want to hit on the credit too, as far as a personal experience for when we bought a house, we were looking at the credit, and Jillian was like, "Hey, I got better credit than you," and she's all trying to rub it in, and she had a bunch of credit cards, and I was like, "I only have like 3 credit cards, and I didn't have any issues, but however, I had a couple of like late payments, those 30-day things, like in my history from a long time ago, right?" But she had all these credit cards, and it was like 80,000 in credit that she had available, with like 2,000 that she had to do payments on. So we were like within the top 5 of America as what they had. However, that was affecting like our risk portfolio, or whatever you want to call it, the risk potential. So the first thing I know I did was that we were told to do is, hey, let's close some of those credit cards, or let's bring Brian's name into your credit cards to build his credit up as well. So when we're putting your package in, you guys are both having, over an 800 credit score account or something like that. So is that something that you guys are kind of do? Is that some of the advice as well too, is like, let's look at this. Why do you have all these things that are potential risk factors, and how do we mitigate those things?
Well, before she answers that, you got to understand that there's many ways. This is a formula, so it could be many things you can do and all that stuff to include. And I was going to ask, what's the difference between bad credit and no credit when it comes to that too? Because we need to know, because as we go through life, these are things that sometimes we're not told, we're not instructed. So we lose a little bit of that. And the reason I want to ask about the cell phone is because there is the myths and facts about them, as you said, and know that everyone's situation is different on how it goes. So Caliber might bring different avenues of approach that other people might not, but that's why they're as good as they're saying, because they're helping out that way. Go ahead. Right. Sorry about that. Just wanted to clarify that.
No, you hit the nail on the head with your comment. What I was actually going to respond to Brian and say is it's a case-by-case basis. In a scenario like that, that is not very common. We don't see a whole lot of veterans coming to us with 80K in open credit lines. So pretty rare. I would highly suggest against closing a credit card unless you've spoken with a loan consultant and we've reviewed your file. That's why it's always important when you are serious about buying to apply first. And the reason I say that is because we can see a big picture, right? So I can see all of the debts. I can see all of the payments, and I always call it plug and play. There's people that have a credit card with $4,000 on it, but their minimum payment's $35. They have another card with $2,000 on it, but the minimum payment is $125. Right? Or it could be the opposite. It could be they have a $2,000 card with a $35 payment and an $800 card with a $150 payment. Well, you know what I mean? So we can see the whole big picture and say, pay this one off first. It makes more of an impact. I also can see the scores, and I have access to something called a credit simulator. So I can plug in your information and it'll tell me exactly how much to pay off on what account and how long it'll take in order to boost your credit. But
so now you have a plan of attack going through
always.
that. You have more of a plan of attack. Because for me, I know like we use like USAA or Navy Fed. So if I'm trying to get a loan done through them, and I think I started with them, and we met a broker that owned his own,
right?
His what was it?
His own branch,
home financing company, right? So he owned his own company. He's like, man, I'm going to write you the loan. I can get you at this interest rate, closing, all that stuff. And then actually put money in our pocket, which was kind of cool. So is there anything that you would recommend for, that E5 that's coming through to be careful? Like not necessarily roadblocks or anything like that, but, their ability to find somebody like you that can sit down and actually go through the process? Or is there people at banks like Navy Fed and USAA that will actually sit down and do this for you?
So I don't want to bash anyone, right? Like everybody wants to do a good job for people. I don't want to say, oh, this company's terrible. This company's a liar. I can give you a couple of examples.
I give you permission if you want to on the podcast.
Well,
I'm not like that. Here's the thing is I'll let my business speak for itself. And if you want to shop me and speak with somebody else, go for it.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm here to help, whether you use me or not. You could still call me for help with something
well,
else.
let's talk about some of the things that without naming branches, whatever situations, but some people might be put into.
Horror stories,
like, what is your counter to that? Or how do you guys project to say like, well, you had 80,000 or you had no credit. How do we go from here in the platform? Because once you go to even think about it, you got to go hit up Miss Mortgage Madam over here, because that's going to be your platform where you start. And from there, you can jump. You say you can, okay, you need to pay X, Y, or Z, but that's your platform. You will not know until you talk to someone like her or her company or her.
Right. Or the people that work with me.
With her.
Hence the team sales manager part. No, I do have a team that helps me. So there's a couple of little boxes in there I want to unwind. So with the credit, let's go to, because you'd asked before, no credit or bad credit. You need to have credit. The good news is same thing. You call me, you have no scores. I have somebody I'd connect you with. You take out the credit card. It's got a $300 balance. We tell you to put $10 on it, and then you pay it at 30 days. And in 30 days, you would get around a $640.
Boom.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
And you get to eat $10 worth of candy bars.
You can do that.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
or
$10
you start learning yourself about credit and what is a good margin from like debt to credit ratio and income. There's some golden numbers they're used.
Yeah, what is that? Is that around? I've heard like 30% or something like that, right? Around there.
Oh, we hear all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah. So most of the time you want to be around or under 45%. Qualifying veterans they have higher ratios than a civilian non-veteran, non-VA loan. So with credit scores, I want to say off the top of my head, I know that if it's over a 720, you can go between 55 and 60% DTI, debt to income ratio. However, there are other components that go with that when we get into the weeds of what we call residual incomes, which this is going to go over most people's head. But it just has to do with the remaining funds and estimated future debts as well. So that's a whole different ballgame, but you really ideally want to stay under 50. On any government loan, 50. This is based on pre-tax dollars. And so if you're taking home $2,000, it's not based on that. It's based on what the pre-tax number is.
50% of what you get for a paycheck as a mortgage is what you're saying?
After all of your debts have been decreased, gotcha. Right? Gotcha. So if you're taking home $5,000 and then you've got a $500 car payment, boom, you're at $4,500. If you've got revolving payments on credit cards and you owe $300 a month, boom, drop that $300. So now all of a sudden that $4,500 becomes $4,200. Divide that in half. You're at $2,100. That is what we call principal and interest. That's your payment. We also have to qualify you if there is a HOA, homeowners association. That fee is built in. Your property tax every month, right, and your homeowners insurance. Then that cannot exceed that $2,100, which is why having low car payments and low revolving debts on credit cards is so important. It's so important in how much you qualify for on a home. And then I think I was going to touch on, you had asked me, Brian, something, shoot kebabs. And then we kind of went all
asked you about maybe having too much credit cards on file that are
that's
open.
The case by case basis.
Yeah. So it's just kind of going that's one thing that I asked. Right. I know that.
Oh no, I know about like the other companies like Navy Fed, etc. Right. Yeah. So my biggest thing is I hate when people are taken advantage of, and I get really angry when our military and veterans are taken advantage of. And I believe that you guys are almost poached by people who think that you're not smart enough to see through it.
Well, I definitely see it in like the cars and the used car lots and stuff here where there's not an APR legal limit and you can go over there and get a Cadillac Escalade.
83%. Let's go.
Yeah. You want the car payments to be $41? Right? Okay.
Don't you? I sold cars for a year and they literally teach you that.
100%.
They tell you to tell these young men coming home with their bonus checks how to spend it, and they screw you guys.
Yeah, they soft sell you to get it and just sign it. And I've heard stories of like intimidation and pressure for some of these PFCs and Lance Corporals. And as you know, getting into the mid-level management, that's it. I have to do this financial counseling for these Marines. And like, oh, you just bought an Audi and now you bought a BMW bike. And I'm like, dude, you have to sell your Audi and you have to lose $5,000 or whatever it is, because you just can't afford it. And it's really hard for these Marines to get back. And you wonder why they're losing their credit. You know what I mean? It's because they can't. They're becoming financially unstable because people are, you know, taking advantage of them. And then when they get to a limit, or they get to this position in their life where they might have the ability to generate generational wealth by purchasing a home, they can't because they have these blemishes. And hopefully they meet a girl from Southern California, from Laguna Hills, that has a better credit score, that can take me in her open arms and boost my credit score up a little bit. Right?
I know, I was to say your friend.
No, totally. That's, you know, the ideal situation. But with regards to being taken advantage of, that's, you know, if you went and applied at a place like a Rocket Mortgage or a Navy Fed or something like that, and you're like, you know what, I am going to probably go through them, but hey, Nicole, would you mind looking at this for me?
Right.
I'm here to do that. You don't pay me to talk to me. Everything I'm here, like, information is free, right?
I think after this, your DMs are going to go up. I don't know if it's all going to be for mortgage stuff, but we'll see what happens.
Oh my goodness.
There is a lot of companies out there that do that like, but you, like you said, Gunny had a good experience because he's like, oh, I did it like that and it was easy because you had someone good that
I had an awesome person.
Yeah.
So
it's so important. So one thing I did see, I had a VA loan, and this was when rates were in the 2s, working with an awesome referral client from one of the realtors here that is also a vet. And oh my gosh, I got this guy this rate. He ghosted me, just absolutely gone. And I called the realtor and I'm like, is he okay? Like, I'm not really worried about the loan. Is he okay? He goes, I can't get a hold of him either. Well, then all of a sudden the guy pops up and I said, his house was supposed to close. No idea. The guy calls me and apologizes, not for ghosting, but for only looking at the rate. He went to another company. The rate was 0.5% lower, but he didn't look at his closing costs. And that's where they screw you guys all the time. $32,000. Mine was $1,695. 32 grand, or he had to pay it or he would have lost the house. One of the things, I guess I can say it. So Navy Fed, I think great company. I know a lot of people that work there on home loans. If your house is, if you're buying a $150,000 house, it makes a lot more sense. But here in Arizona, I'm seeing, you know, I just had a gentleman buy one and VA $600,000 house. And he had worked with me for a year and decided he wanted to shop. And I said, go for it. And then send me your loan fee summary sheet, which they should always give you if they are quoting you. Okay. Ask for it in writing if they're telling you something, because they will tell you something and it will come out later that it's not what they said. So always get it in writing. But anywho, he sent it to me and I circled it, highlighted it, sent it back. And I said, they are charging you $4,500 more to originate your loan. If you want to give me $4,500, I'll actually beat their rate. So what they're doing is reallocating your funds and they're sticking those charges in elsewhere. So if the rate seems great and you're saving $12 a month, look at how much they're going to charge you at closing. That's usually where I've
had the same thing happen personally about when we bought the loan, the house in Oceanside. It was the same thing. I was closing for a standard fee of $10,500 from USAA, which is, you know, and they made me do the closing costs. Like, you know, hey, the buyer's going to do the closing costs. We can wrap it up in the loan. And then I went and got the loan from, you know, home financing company over there. And he was like, hey, I'll tell you what, I'll close it and I'll write you a check for the remainder. So he wrote me a check. He's like, same APR, and wrote me a check for $8,000 and put it back in my pocket. He's like, I'll close it for that, but we'll just throw that right back. And so I was like, it's amazing. So I got $8,000 for buying a home. You know what I mean? And that was awesome. So
I'd have to look at the legalities of that, Brian.
Well, I'm not saying it was anything crazy, but it was like, but I mean, everything was legal, but it was
done.
saving me the money, like you said, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where,
Yeah, and I guess you can say the big name VA focused companies typically aren't working in your best interest. I hate to say that, but that's what I see a lot. They're pushing it out in the commercials. They're spending all your money on commercials to bring in your brothers and sisters, right?
So they're doing a standard, they're in a bigger scale, right? So they're just kind of putting, hey, this is a standard, what we train our loan originators or people. Here's what it is. Is that kind of what it is, more or less?
Big companies, loan offices, banks, and all that have ingrained in basis already, these realtors practices. And all that they want to do that. Yeah, it looks great. It sounds great because some of the bases also redeem some of those benefits, financial benefits. Mm-hmm. Reason I say that is because I've tried to go help out and they're like, the base is like, well, you got to pay me this much a month in order to get, it's like, I'm trying to help them. I'm not trying to, but again, there's a lot of places where people want to cut corners, and I'm not trying to ingrain something here, but that's why MVP started the MVP relocation, so we can find those people of trust and say like, well, I trust you, not disrespect to any big banks, but like, right. I don't trust them as much because I've seen those scenarios happening. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't seen them, then you'll be like, well, I guess that's okay. It's not. So
yeah, I didn't know any better. I thought this was normal. I was like, for you. I wanted to be easy.
Closing costs, Ryan. You brought up a key component. So closing costs technically cannot be rolled into your loan, but what can be is your funding fee. So that's why if you saw a title of somebody's home, a loan amount being, 104% of the actual loan, it's because they have rolled in your funding fee. One thing I do always ask when I get a referral and somebody is already out of the military, one of my first questions, do you have a disability rating? Mm. I ask this because you become funding fee exempt with just a 10% disability rating. I've done a refi and he didn't have a disability rating. It cost him $18,700 because of the funding fee. That is not caliber. That is
that hurts. Right?
Yes. So things, and I'm sure you guys go over, intent to file, make sure everything's documented while you are in, please, please, please. If you ever, you get out, your ears are ringing, there's your 10%, right? And with all of the,
and it's not because we're talking about you, but they actually fucking ring.
Yeah. Yes, they're ringing. Tinnitus. So just really understanding that you're also entitled to that. That when going on to people saying, oh, I don't feel like I should get a VA loan. Same people are telling me I don't think I should file for disability. Yes, you should. Because at some point you will have repercussions of everything that you have put your body through in the military for us, right?
So, yeah, I never even thought about it as far as like making sure we claim the right things for something like getting a loan later. You always think about you're there on one side or the other a lot of times where it's like, oh, I'm a victim, I'm hurt, I'm all messed up. I'm going to get as much money as I can. I'm going to get to 100% however I can. And then you have the other ones like you were saying is like, hey, I'm good. I'm not going to try to take advantage of the system or whatever that. I don't want to be this victim. But you're kind of back and forth. But I never even thought about how important it is to have a certain rating for other things. Not only some of the tax stuff, but where you are in the state. But
it's not about the, if you're say you're single and you have a 10% rating, what are you going to get? $170? It's not going to change your life per se, but it could when you're buying a home. The other thing is once you are in that system, having a rating, being able to go in when other things do go awry, like that knee all of a sudden that was bothering you, but you never really talked about it. It might be in your medical records. You're already in the system to start working on those things later. But it is super important, just to get in there. I watched Ethan go through that for 2 years, getting his ratings, and he's still fighting. So he thankfully had an intent to file and it was lost at the VA issue here in Phoenix. They located it, so he got a check back.
And this is part of the collaboration with MVP and stuff like that, because we can find people like yourself and then other people that are in that VA process and can help with that disability things, and not to mention some of the peer support specialists that we have. It's just building these subject matter experts in different fields to make your life better, and to cover down on some of these things. And we all have that same veteran passion to help those that served. whether you're a veteran or not, or a veteran supporter. I think is
Patriot.
important, right? It's just an awesome American and just an awesome human being. It doesn't even have to be for just being American, because as America, we have people that come out from different countries, and they could be utilizing some of the same techniques and tools to not get taken advantage of. You know what I mean? And good business is good business. You know what I mean? If you have somebody, you're like, hey, I didn't even get the loan from Nicole, but she helped me, not fall into this trap.
Right.
And that referral that stuff is going to be definitely helping you in the future. So,
and this could be just a siphon where, Nicole might not be able to help because she might not be licensed in certain states, but I guarantee you she knows someone that does.
Yep.
She trusts someone that can, entrust you with. So don't hesitate to reach out to Gunny or Mortgage Madam. I know she, what was your Instagram you said, or how can people reach you?
Can they see it? So it's at Your Mortgage Madam.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And then,
on the screen. That's my IG handle. Episode 6 got my whole fatty name on there. So you can find me also on Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm not as active on LinkedIn as I should be.
Okay.
But I did want to touch really fast on one crazy number that I have in a presentation here. In 2021, only 13% of VA eligible clients used their VA loan when purchasing a home.
I got a question for you.
Wild. Yes.
You said earlier, you had so much to tell us, and I got a little confused and stuff like that. You said something about the market shifting. What does that mean for the VA home loan? I know it means a lot to a lot of people in the nation and such, but to being specific to utilizing that VA home loan, how does that hinder or help us?
So the last couple of years were pretty wild. People buying a house with what they call an escalation clause, meaning, hey, the house is listed at $300,000. I'll give you $320,000, but I'll beat everybody out up to $400,000. Well, those are all cash, right? So the entitlement allows you to put 0% down. Veterans were not getting their offers accepted. These homeowners were taking so much. With the quote unquote market shift, meaning the market is starting to even out with buyers and sellers. So as we see an increase in inventory of homes coming on the market, buyers have so many more opportunities, especially our VA clients. They're phenomenal loans. And there's so many different myths that I can go through if we have time, that we hear about VA loans, that we're trying to break that for our real estate agents that we work with too. So I also hold seminars teaching realtors why the VA loan is amazing. So with the last 2 years, very difficult to get offers accepted with 0% down. It was the situation. Now, as the market has come back around and there's more homes for sale, people are jumping at 0% down. Hey, you want my house? Great. Here you go. You're going to get some good financing. You've already been pre-approved up front by Nicole. Yes. Okay, let's go. So now your loans, your offers are getting accepted. The other great part, and this is where there's a misconception. There are some veterans that think everything is free. No down payment, no closing costs. They don't have to pay for an appraisal. Now, an appraisal, yes, technically can be paid for by a seller. It can be. That is a cost, and an inspection as well, but you'd have to work that out in your own contract. When I tell people to prepare, you might have 0% down on your home. The offer can get accepted that way. Always prepare that you have the funds to cover your closing costs. That is why you also need to ask for a loan fee summary sheet in writing. It'll show you a breakdown of an estimated amount that you need to have put away. One nice thing, if you have pretty darn good credit, we don't have to show what are called reserves. A reserve means once your loan closes and you have paid all of your closing costs, you would typically have to have money sitting in the bank. I prefer you do. Again, if something breaks, goes wrong, you need 4 new tires on your car, you have the money. But technically, you just need the funds to close.
Now,
So that is,
when you
again,
say funds and everything, when you say you need to have some money, I know that it sounds, well, what is the number? What is that number? Like when you think about numbers, you got to think about percentages. That percentage might change if you're trying to buy a house of 1.5 million or a house of $250,000. That 1% is going to change. And plus, I wanted to ask you, the VA home loan does have a limit. What's that limit? If that limit reaches, what happens from there?
well, in 2020, there was a change. And actually, Jeff Wilson works with us at Caliber, and he wrote the new law. In 2020, there is technically no loan limit for VA if you qualify with your current income.
It's just what the bank's going to give you or whatever the lender's going to be. They're going to take a certain.
Right. In Arizona, we are $2.5 million.
Hell yeah. I can't wait to come over.
Yeah. Other states will be higher. Yeah, I've seen higher here. We just have to go through an approval process and show those things that we discussed earlier called compensating factors. Maybe you did put a lot of money away. You now own your own business and you qualify for a $3 million house. Easy
Camp MVP. Camp MVP. MVP headquarters.
Here we go.
It's going to be the ranch.
Yeah.
Right? Gonna have a
so there is technically no loan limit anymore.
Awesome.
It is awesome. Do you want me to just read off a few common myths I have put down
100%.
here?
Like if Doc has to pee, that's fine. I peed beforehand, so he can always
hold
get
it,
up.
Doc.
How did you know?
You have
Does the water make you want to go? No, I'm just kidding.
No, not at all.
That's vodka.
It's Arizona, we get dry mouth here.
That's what she said.
Anywho. Common myths. I'm just going to read off a few and I'll touch on a couple here. But I was surprised by this personally, but this data was pulled from our military lending department. There's people that believe they cannot use VA eligibility until they're actually out of the military. Not true. Brian can attest to that. Bought a home in Oceanside while he was stationed at Pendleton, right, Brian?
Yep. I was stationed at Pendleton and then I ended up moving to the East Coast and I kept renting it. However, with COVID was a scare of not paying mortgage. So we sold it and then didn't think I was going to come back. Then I came back and found out I could have probably made 300,000 more if I would have held on to it. But hey, you live and you learn.
Could have also lost 300,000, right? We didn't know how the market was going to go.
Could have been. You never know. Yeah, that's true.
Still made money on it. That's nice.
That's what counts.
And then the next one we have here, it says that people believe that they can only use their VA loan once. So they try to save it. Not true. You can. Well, if you purchase a home and you use your VA loan and then you sell your loan or allow someone to assume your loan, which we can talk about loan assumptions. If they assumed your VA loan and they have a VA loan, you want to make sure that they switch it over to their entitlement. A veteran, another myth, it says that a veteran can only have one VA loan at a time. That is not true. I know someone with 3 currently.
Yeah, that's a thing that I thought, you know what I mean? And to come back, I sold my house, my VA loan to another, chief warrant officer. So is there something I have to do to make sure that my VA loan is transferred or whatever, however you're saying? Like
once the loan is paid off under your name, your entitlement is reinstated.
Okay. So yeah, it's got paid off and I made some money off of it too. Right. So yeah, okay, I should be good.
Question: What if I use the VA home loan and then I don't want to sell my house and I want to reuse the home loan again? I want to use it as a rental or something. Can I do that?
You can if there's your entitlement room left. So there is a cap on how much you can qualify for to use as a loan. And then we have a breakdown. I wonder, I can share my screen, can't I?
Yeah. So if you go,
pull up an example. I'll pull up an example. Let me find it here.
So let's say that I want to go ahead and buy a property. And then I'm like, all right, year and a half, 2 years into it. I'm like, okay, interesting. I think I want to buy another one. Could I use the money on that or the equity?
I'm going to show you right here. I am going to share my screen with you. So it depends. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. If you have used your full entitlement amount, so say you bought a house for $150,000, but your entitlement amount was the conforming limit of $647,200 on a conventional loan, you'd have remaining money to use with your VA loan. But if you used your full entitlement amount, then no, you would either have to refinance that into a conventional loan to receive your VA entitlement back. So it is another case-by-case basis. I'm going to hit share so I can just show you the slide so you can see it real quick.
Better not be porn.
Oh shit.
Let me know if you can see my computer.
Not yet, no.
Negative. Okay.
Wonder if you have to send it to me.
Yeah, maybe you have to approve of it.
Well, I could just read it. How about that?
It could definitely be on, episode AB of chapter 6 or something like that if you want.
Yeah, and I can send it over to Brian, but I'll just read it and give you a quick example.
So you can send it to me, and what I can do is I can also put it on the YouTube as something, as something that people can
we can do that. It's just basically called a partial entitlement. So if you've used on the example we have on here is just an original loan amount of $275, but you're keeping the property, and the max county loan limit is $647. It shows you a very easy breakdown of how much of the balance you have remaining that you can use with 100% financing. And then if you go over that amount, how much you have to put down to cover the difference.
Percentage-wise?
Yeah.
So it would be how much percentage-wise instead of a number?
10%. Okay, so anything over, let's see, we require 25% down payment on the difference.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this real quick.
250, they would pay 10% of that 250 instead of let's say it was 800,000. They would only pay 10% of the 250, not of the rest of the loan.
Well, it's 25% of the difference. So you'd have to do 25% down payment on what was left. If 200,000 you had remaining on an $800,000 house, you'd have to put 25% down on 600,000. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Now, a quick question on that too. Sure. So let's say I have a $200,000 house. I lived there for 3 years. I've met the requirements for capital gain, right? Mm-hmm. I have the time for that. When I move to another house where I don't have to pay taxes or anything like that I think it's for veterans, it's an added 10 years. Right. So it's up to 15 years or something like that for the capital gain stuff. Let's say I'm trying to use the rest of the money that I have on my entitlements for the loan. Do I have to live in the new house that I purchased for 2 years, or can I just buy another home, still live in my $200,000 house, but buy a $400,000 house that I want to rent? I have to actually move into the other one, right? Is that kind of
right?
How it works?
So there's a lot of different things in that question, and a lot of those I would always send somebody to a CPA before I answer your capital gains and tax questions.
As far as tax, yep. Okay.
Yeah, that's not my forte, so I don't want to step on any toes or give you the wrong answer. In regards to purchasing a home with your VA loan, you do have to have it as a primary residence for 12 months. Okay. You have to move in within what they consider a reasonable amount of time. It should be within 60 days. Now, again, everything has a nuance. So if you have a spouse that might be in another state, et cetera, it's case-by-case basis, but those are the typical guidelines. You use a VA loan, it has to be your primary residence for at least 12 months.
See, I didn't know that. So the 12 months thing, I thought it was always like 2 years or something like that. So you just get your mail delivered there for 12 months and you're good. Or pay an electrical fee or
legally you're supposed to be in the house. Now, if you do get orders and you have to move, it's a different scenario.
Yeah.
But
I think that's kind of what I was getting confused too with capital gains and stuff like that as well, where if you had orders active duty, your time doesn't start until after like you're out or you know what I mean? So
yeah, that's definitely out of my scope, but and I'm sure Doc over here knows, he probably gets the question, hey, do I have to pay property taxes because I'm 100% disabled?
Which you don't, right?
Depends on the state. Depends on the state.
Yeah, it depends on the county, depends on your income, and you also still have to apply for it. So people think that they're buying a home, they have 100% non-workable rating, and you still have to qualify for your home purchase with the property taxes in there. And it is something that you work on afterwards. You submit an application, they review it certain times during the year to see if they can approve it.
Nice.
So
what other myths do we have out there? Do you got any other
boom mic drop
myths
over
that
there,
we
Doc?
can just destroy real quick? I'm super excited because I'm potentially getting out here in a little bit, and Arizona is where I want to go. So it's great to have.
You want to come make me babysit? I hate you.
Put together I'm gonna grab my Ron Burgundy fucking seashell and assemble the team.
Perfect.
You know what I mean?
I'll be there.
He's highly trained assassin, real estate bank team, whatever you want to call them, and then they can just represent me, and I can just buy
sit back and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
$3 million. You heard it here on Righteous Dad Podcast. If you're a veteran and you're looking for a home, you can get up to $3 million. What was it? $2.5 million.
But
$2.5
compensating factors, I can make things happen.
So you have to start a YouTube channel or a podcast.
You'll probably end up marrying me because I'm single and I don't have $3 million.
You're looking for
you do.
Yeah. Like I said, the DMs are going to go huge. You're going to be like, hey, can I help you with this home loan? And they're like, no, I was just trying to take you out to dinner. And then,
you got $3 million?
Now you have all these free dinners.
Oh gosh, that sounds terrible. They're like, oh, she lives in Scottsdale.
I mean, you live in Scottsdale. I don't have to tell you.
Take her to Chili's and you got her. My wife, a little bit different. I had to take her to Fuga de Chao or
no, you could take her to Chili's. She really likes queso dip and molten lava cakes. There's your in, man.
I was trying to take her to Applebee's as much as I could. Funny story. She hates Applebee's, and my dad got us a Christmas card, $50 to Applebee's, and I got to watch her open it in front of my dad. And my wife, being the wonderful person that she is like, this is amazing. Thank you so much. And she looks at me, and I'm like, right now, I'm trying to make the ethical question of like, do I tell my dad and hurt his feelings, or
you use it yourself?
So I'm like trying my hardest to not have the Marine Savage side come up. I'm like,
wait, I got a $50 gift card from you guys and my birthday card to Applebee's.
That's exactly right.
Is that it?
Exactly right. I definitely donated that. I definitely donated that to a sergeant with 4 kids. Which $50 probably got him some French fries and maybe some riblets or something.
A couple of kids' meals.
But the story behind that, it's not nothing against Applebee's. It was just that, her family and grandparents would go to Applebee's every day, and she hated everything on the menu. So if you're watching this, we love you. But hey, we come from humble beginnings over there in Minnesota, where Applebee's is like, that's like the restaurant. Like, that's like, oh my gosh, we're going to Applebee's. It must be my anniversary or something.
Makes it into big country songs, man.
Yeah.
I saw the Talladega night, so it must be true.
Yeah, Applebee's. I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew. Oh yeah.
Now, I said no onions.
What is your favorite restaurant out in Scottsdale?
I thought you said extra onions.
Yeah, if somebody wanted to take you out to dinner, where would you want to go?
Yeah.
Now, did we just turn this into a dating show, guys? No.
Damn.
Hey,
I'm a Taco Tuesday kind of girl. Ooh. So like, I'm just down to go get some good tacos and a margarita.
Sorry, you don't have.
Now, you talked about this, and now because we have a prior history, so you talked about the dating show. Now I know you've been on a dating show. Do not Google. And now everyone's Googling.
I have dark hair. You wouldn't recognize me anyway.
She was actually on a dating show.
What dating show? Now I'm enthused.
Oh gosh, I did 8 episodes of a reality dating show with George Lopez on Fox. I did. It was called Take Me Out. It was edited and produced terribly, but hey, that was a $3 million stage they built for us.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. It's probably about as good as Righteous Dad Podcast when it's like, hey, let's hit this record button. You know what I'm saying?
And my opening was so much better in the first one. I was so depressed by the time you hit record on the second one. But what was funny is I was letting you go for like 20 seconds going, shit, how am I going to tell her that it didn't hit the record button?
You just click record and eventually you can edit it yourself. You just don't tell them.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, can we do that really quick? Because Doc farted or something. I don't know. Blame it on me, bro. Yeah. I heard that shit.
Now I know to look in the corner where it says recording.
It literally throws it in front of us. Starting recording or something.
Yeah, that's where I see it. Well, the problem was the intro and trying to get a good intro, and I still need to build it as this Righteous Dad podcast continues to go. I don't take it 100% serious yet as far as how I'm perceived, because it's whatever. It's about giving the value added for you as a guest to come on. So it's going to get better and better. And I'm going to try to teach myself how to do some good intro stuff. But anybody that's a guest in the future too, just if you guys can send me good pictures and good intro things, I can start making this a little bit more. But I got in trouble already. I had JT Adams on, he's a country rapper, and he sent me, I'm like, hey, I'm going to put his song on there from YouTube. That shit hit so quick, flagging on property rights, because everything is digital property rights where they can just hear it. So anything that's uploaded, it's already digital proprietorship, or it's like it hit the system in YouTube. And if you don't know, if you're a YouTube creator, you get a credit score. And if you get so many hits, they can straight up kick you off. Like they'll straight up take your show off. Right now, we're not at that 1,000 subscriber stuff where I can even get affiliated to make any kind of money when it comes to ads and marketing ads and all that stuff. But hopefully we can get there sometime. So bringing pretty faces like Doc on here, you know what I mean, helps with it. So, and then Nicole's just the cherry on top, right? So that's why I made sure that Doc does his eyebrows, and he, you know what I mean, he makes his bed in the background. But it's as we get there, I'm going to become a little bit more professional. So.
Yeah, right. People are going to be here not because of your amazing intro, because of the amazing people you bring here. Not me, but Miss Mortgage Madam bringing so much knowledge and support for the future and now for veterans in active duty. So thank you for what you do, my man. Absolutely. Don't mind my bed. It's made. It's made.
Are you thanking me, or are you thanking
you? Both of you.
Oh, okay, cool. That makes
Thank you. Yeah, and I just want people to know that they can reach out. If it's email, it tends to be a slight bit slower because I do get inundated with emails just from work in general, like my company. But if you do message me on IG, or if you look me up on Facebook, you'll find me. I respond to those messages much faster.
She said slide into her DMs.
Slide into my DMs and ask me a VA question. I got you.
You heard it here first at Righteous Dad Podcast.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be a quick speed dating site as well, too. We could turn this into so many different things. Like I've had, here we're just trying. The biggest thing we're trying to do is just bring value added to the listeners and viewers, whether it's an inspiring story or actual legit help on, dealing with mental health and suicide. I know that's the biggest thing that I'm trying to push with Doc is to know that you have resources out here that can help you. And as we go through some of these shifts in our life, we need those people that can help us and give us, that are looking for our best interest, really. And Nicole is one of them. So if you can, please hit her up. If you're looking to buy a house, or somebody that's looking to buy a house and they're going to use that VA loan, make sure that you're using professionals and people that have your back, that are going to fight for you. I know Nicole personally, and I know she will fight for you. And if you haven't seen already, she's as smart as she is beautiful. So, and same thing with Doc. Doc has it too. So hit her up at, her .com, as you can see underneath. It's like breaking news thing. I feel like it's like a CNN
I love it.
Or Fox breaking news. Drop something on her DM, hit her up. And then just also, if you want to support this podcast, and if this has brought any kind of value added, the only way that you pay us back is just make sure you hit a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Help us reach that 1,000 subscriber here on YouTube so that we can start putting things back into here. And then also make sure you hit up mvp.org in the link tree and please send a donation. Help the veterans. This is all nonprofit. It goes right to the veterans, and we're going to be doing big things and putting a lot more people from MVP on this channel. So not only do you see these people that we're trying to benefit, but it's going to show that, hey, the donations that you give are actually making a difference. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate you listening and viewing into this podcast. I appreciate Nicole for everything that she's doing for our veterans over there in Arizona, California, and Idaho, because she's not just one state, but many states. So as this goes out, please, if you know anybody in those states too, hit her up. Hit up Doc. He's out there in Arizona as well. And then check out MVP. So you got anything you guys want to close out?
We are nationwide. Just because my licenses are there, I have somebody in every state that's part of my my military veterans resource group with Caliber. So don't hesitate if that's not one of your states. And if you just have a question, hit me up. I'm here for you. So it's my way to give back, because I was not a badass like all of you guys but I do support you. I'm a Patriot.
She's got some guns. Show those
Show them guns.
Look at that.
Woo!
That's as big as my muscles are, right? I'm like, holy shit.
I build guns and I got guns. So
that's that VA loan process. She's crushing the shit out, knife handing people.
I should have had my little Glock I just built out here, but no. Okay.
I'm telling you, it's assassins. Everybody that we bring into this show is an assassin for what they do, and that's what it's all about. So thanks again. Thanks for viewing in, and until next time, stay righteous.
Thank you.